For 2 years, my working life was a study in professional survival. Then, a company-wide restructure changed the hierarchy, and the manager who had made my life miserable started reporting to me. That change followed 700 days of navigating a leader who prioritized her own ego over the team's output. I found out about the move on a Wednesday afternoon. My reaction was to say nothing. I didn't gloat, I didn't reference the past, and I didn't share the news with my colleagues. Significant shifts in workplace power often happen in this kind of silence, without a single word of conflict. My former manager, Linda, operated with a specific set of tools: micromanagement, public criticism, and a habit of taking credit for successes while pushing failures down the chain. She framed these behaviors as maintaining high standards, using professional-sounding language to justify a culture of blame.
I managed to survive that environment by focusing on 3 things: keeping my head down, delivering impeccable work, and building direct relationships with the directors above her. This visibility meant that when the department eventually reorganized, the people making the decisions already had 2 years of evidence regarding my value and her limitations. When she officially became my subordinate the following Monday, I felt the urge to give her a taste of her own management style. It's a natural human impulse to want to return micromanagement and public correction to the person who gave it to you. But choosing petty revenge is a strategic error. It validates the toxic culture and gives the other person a legitimate reason to complain to HR. This chart compares 2 ways of handling the situation. On the left is the political approach, defined by shifting blame and inconsistent feedback. I chose the right side, the professional framework. I treated her exactly as I would any other team member. I established clear, written expectations and offered documented acknowledgement when those metrics were met. The cycle was predictable and lacked the sudden spikes of emotion she had used in the past. Authority is most effective when it is demonstrated through procedure. By removing the emotional leverage from the relationship, you make manipulation impossible. This required a total erasure of the past. I didn't make subtle digs about her new role or use inside jokes to remind her that the tables had turned. For someone used to navigating through office politics, facing an unwavering wall of fairness is disorienting. Every interaction was professional, clinical, and strictly focused on the work. She had likely prepared for a confrontation or a power struggle. When neither arrived, she was left with no conflict to engage with. Manipulative behavior needs friction to survive. A refusal to play the game creates a vacuum that makes those old tactics visible and ineffective. This kind of professionalism is a perfect trap. You are holding someone to a high standard, which is an action that human resources cannot punish. Without the cover of politics to hide behind, her ability to function in the role began to fail. She didn't have a plan for a manager who actually documented her progress and held her to the numbers. Clear accountability is exposing. When she missed a milestone, there was no downward blame to assign. There was only the project plan we had both signed. She had spent years using the idea of high standards as a weapon, yet she struggled to meet those same standards when they were applied to her own output. Fair management forces a person to stand on their actual contributions. If those contributions aren't there, the system itself makes the case for their removal. Within 4 months, she submitted a request for a transfer. In the HR system, she cited a desire to seek new challenges. Her new manager later told me she found the move difficult. I responded with a sympathetic nod and didn't offer a single detail about our history. Leading with excellence denies a former abuser the one thing they need to save face, a narrative where they are the victim of a personal grudge. When dealing with a toxic professional, the most effective response isn't a loud one. It is the quiet, undeniable evidence of a job done better.